This Charlie Kirk fucking fallout has been pretty wild to watch, man. I've just finished watching actually Candace Owens. There was a really touching tribute from Candace Owens where she kind of pays tribute to Charlie Kirk, and I thought it was a really good one, to be fair. I've never really ever seen Candace like that. She's usually pretty cold, distant, unemotional, but her and flipping Charlie Kirk were really good friends. Obviously, I didn't realize until she mentioned on the show just how good friends they were, and the time that they came up together, helping each other out politically and shit with their commentary and all that, with their commentary careers. So she was really cut up about it. I really did enjoy what she had to say regarding him. I think she did a really good job in terms of humanizing him, because so far the things I've seen about Charlie Kirk, again, I'm not that familiar with his work. I'd see him post on the time up in terms of time, but I wouldn't really waste too much time checking out all the stuff that he said. But yeah, man, I found him to be, you know, whatever in it, same as all the others when it comes to stoking fire and hatred and shit. I didn't really understand why people kind of bought all that sort of stuff, to be fair, when it came to the stuff that he used to say. But again, you have to remember Turning Points USA was an important, very pivotal organization, or, you know, kind of political group in terms of pushing conservatism to a lot of young people. A lot of Democrats have probably still never got over that whole thing and probably think, you know, they just haven't got over it and can't really ever kind of get those young men back on their side again. So I guess in terms of political opponents, he was maybe number one in terms of somebody there to kind of get off the fucking chessboard, for lack of a better fucking, you know, for lack of a better phrase. But I'll quickly play for you the Candace Owens tribute to Charlie Kirk. Then we're going to move on and I'll cover some other bits and bobs and then move on to the other story, because, you know, talking about this all the time is a little bit annoying in itself as well. But this is a tribute courtesy of Candace Owens, where she, I feel like, does a good job in terms of humanizing him, coming from a friend. I think she was on for like about half an hour, maybe an hour on her live stream. Spoke very much from the heart. Seemed like she was kind of, you know, about to explode with tears and stuff, but held it together. And I think did a good job in kind of, you know, again, painting him out to be a great friend and a brother that she's obviously going to miss. And you could just imagine from a friend side of things, like, you know, we and the public, you know, the neutral public cannot like him, cannot be a fan of some of his rhetoric. But if you're a friend of his and you see your friends, you know, basically neck fucking exploding all over social media, it's not really going to be something that you can get out of your head, you know. It's fucking wild. So let me play this clip for you of Candace Owens paying tribute to her friend Charlie Kirk.
That we had manifested it. We were 100%. We manifested this by listening to Power on repeat. Actually, I found a clip of us backstage on that day when that tweet happened, and we were doing what I used to refer to as like the Charlie dance. Here it is. You don't understand like the divinity of him tweeting that. Like,
I'm living in the 21st century. There's something meaning to it.
The era of Kanye. I can't even explain it, because you really did have to be there. Charlie was my overly bright and sometimes really annoying kid brother. I was smiling going through my chat of how many times he would text me a picture and say, does this look cool? Does this look cool? Do I look cool? This is like just a screen recording of us talking about a pair of sunglasses. He's just sending me it. I'm like, nah, that's not good. Nope, that's not. No, send. Okay, that one's okay. That'll work. And this is actually one of my favorite photos of him, where he said, I can just hear him when I look at this photo. I can hear him saying, does this look cool? He was wearing a pair of Yeezys that Kanye gave him, and he looked really cool. I thought they really suited him. I was like, yeah, you look really cool, Charlie. The reverse of that, obviously, was him constantly hammering me on debates. I mean, Charlie was like, look, you gotta.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Pretty touching tribute, regardless of what you may think of the guy. But one thing that I am really confused about, and I don't know if this is a semi-lacquer, right? So big up my guy Elephant Graveyard. I don't know if this is a semi-lacquer, but am I the only person that feels like they're going insane covering or watching this news about Charlie Kirk? Because I feel like a lot of his supporters, a lot of his fans are really underplaying, are really like refusing to acknowledge and sort of like skirting over the fact that he said quite a lot of hateful things when he was alive. Not to say whatever you say should be a reason for somebody to enact violence, but surely this is something that should be at the top of everyone's mind, you know? The kind of rhetoric that he was pushing out. It's just, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't understand how nobody's really willing to acknowledge the fact that the things that he said might have played a part in the way his life ended. Not to say it's correct, not to say it's just, not to say it's appropriate or anything along those kind of lines, but not acknowledging that fact is just really insulting to my intelligence. I feel like I'm being like gaslit in a way. Like, oh yeah, it's just, yeah, this is really sad, you should have everything. Yeah, of course, but still, you know, like, not to kind of use that horrible term, but it kind of feels like a little bit F around find out. You know, I'm not too pleased that it seems like people are more prone, more easy. Like, for instance, like, people are more prone and more ready to kind of like go after influencers and whatever else it may be, and not even go after, because go after sounds weird, as if I'm like advocating people to kind of hunt down politicians. But it's just a strange thing, right, in terms of who can affect your actual real life day to day. But I just don't understand why this is not a conversation that's being had with a lot of those controversial YouTuber types. Don't get me wrong, I think their actions will speak louder than their words. I think you're going to see in the next couple of months, the next few years, you're definitely going to see a toning down in rhetoric. I don't think these guys are really about that life. Like, so far, I haven't seen anybody come out and say, try me, bitch. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be debating anybody about this. Da, 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 da. You know, I haven't heard anyone say that. Everyone's been very reflective and somber and quiet and measured. I haven't seen anybody really let their nuts hang. So I think their actions speak louder than their words. But I have still heard words from people where they're completely ignoring or skirting over the fact that this Charlie Kirk guy said a lot of hateful things. There's an entire compilation of his on fucking YouTube that people are having of some of the most, you know, inflammatory and hurtful things that he said to, you know, black people especially, and just to anybody that doesn't look like him, for lack of a better term. But this person on social actually put together a pretty decent list of video titles, right? Video titles from Charlie Kirk that kind of, I feel like, don't really, I think, send the right message in terms of love and not hate. It personally, I think if you're somebody that's spewing this type of rhetoric online, again, it's not, no one's kind of condoning what happened, but it only takes one crazy person. It only takes one unhinged person, one person to get their feelings hurt, to feel like it's their responsibility to silence you, and then suddenly, boom, here's what happened. So I don't know, man. I just feel like it's kind of, you know, if anything as well, it kind of also does disservice to his quote unquote legacy and to his passing. If people don't acknowledge the fact that he did say some dicey stuff, as Brendan would say, some racy stuff, some edgy stuff that you would imagine would ruffle some feathers. This is a compilation of some of this, right? From this Twitter account called Old Man Lefty, who posted an entire list of titles. I'm assuming taken from YouTube videos. I'm assuming they are. The titles are, one, let's read them through, right? Or maybe these are just statements that he said in the past. Maybe not YouTube title. Maybe they're statements he said in the past, because I don't think you could get away with the first one. The first one says, gay people should be stoned to death. Then we have, most people are scared when they see a black pilot flying a plane. Oh no, yeah, I've heard him say this. So these are things that he said, statements he said. Taylor Swift should reject feminism and submit to her husband. No one should be allowed to retire. Like, what? He's coming after everybody. Like, he's a real equal opportunity fucking bigot. You know? He was a real opportunity bigot, right? A real kind of, you know, across the board fucking piece of shit. Everyone gets it. Women, fellow white people, old people, black people, Hispanic people, everyone fucking gets it from this guy. Leftists should not be allowed to move to red states. British colonialism was what made the world decent. Jesus Christ. The guy who assaulted the Pelosi's should be bailed out, which again, you know, that sounds like karma to me. Religious freedom should be terminated. Multiple black politicians stole white people's spots. MLK Jr. was an awful person. The Great Replacement theory is reality. Hydrochlorine cures COVID. Vaccine requirements are medical apartheid. Guns deaths are acceptable in order to have a Second Amendment. That one's the one that really came to bite him in the ass, I think, right? That second one definitely came to bite him in the ass. Parents should prevent their daughters from taking birth control. George Floyd had it coming. The Jan 6 protesters didn't. 1964 Civil Rights Act was a huge mistake. Jesus Christ. Encourage parents to protest mask mandates. Mandani winning in NY is travesty because Muslims did in 9/11. Muslims only come to America to destabilize Western civilization. And finally, Palestine doesn't exist. Those who support it are like the KKK. Like, pretty insane statements right there, right? And you'd imagine one of those could upset an entire group of people, one person, enough for them to commit such a crazy, brazen crime and assault that led to his death. Like, it's pretty insane, man. And you think about the brutal nature of how he passed away, right? The public nature of it all, the gore, all of that. I wonder if that's all tied with some of these statements. Like, you know, you spewed all this hatred, and here you're gonna go out in a really hateful way. You know, he didn't go out, he didn't get poisoned or anything. You know, this was you going out like, you know, probably in a lot of pain. You're imagining, kind of gargling on your own blood and shit. Like, oh yeah, man. Honestly, what a horrible way to go.